Final hour overdrive continues, brought to you by FanDuel. Bryan Hayes, Doug, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. Confirm or deny later in the hour. Buddy Bruce Boudreau coming up here in a moment. Week tonight, the NHL opens up. Leafs Habs will be on the Wednesday night, but a few games in the NHL this time next week. And Noodles, you're out in Halifax, right?
Yep.
Beautiful Halifax, Nova Scotia. Sidney Crosby back home. Looked like a cool scene last night, man.
It was great. You know what? They did it up well. The city of Halifax is, as you know it well. Like it's a great setup. Both of you actually know it well. Like, you spent a lot of time there. And Hayes, how many years did you spend there?
I was there for a long time. I had a Van Wilder thing going on out there.
Did you go to college for like 6 years?
University, like 3 or 4 years?
Yeah. It was a shade over 4, I think. I was there. A shade.
Like 5 or
like what kind of degree did you walk out of there with?
Not one that really matters much. If we're being
what did you do?
honest.
You said I got this thing where I could get into like business, and then you just said, screw it, I'm going to go on the radio.
Yeah, more or less. I started. I was an intern like everyone else, and then that led to me. I backdoored into a producing job, which I was not qualified for. And
but when you were doing all that stuff, like, were you getting in people's ears saying, like, someone's got to give me a shot? Like, just listen to my voice. I got knowledge. Like, how did you? Did you always know that you wanted to be on air?
No, I wasn't certain at the time. Like, because it was a different task. Like, I was younger. I was in my mid-20s, early 20s, and you don't really know if you can do it until you get on the air. Like, that's the truth. Like, I know a lot of people like, I could do that. I could do. You don't know if you can until you get on.
Right.
Like when the mic goes, it's one thing to be like, I could talk. Okay, turn the mic on and see if you can be compelling. Can you entertain people? Like, ultimately, we're in the entertainment business. That's what it is. So, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. And even once I started getting on the air, it wasn't like I had ambitions of hosting a show like this. It just one thing led to the next, and then eventually I was like, all right, I think I'll give it a shot. And fortunate enough to be in the position I'm in.
It's just funny because that's getting out there. You're walking down the street. I'm walking with Gord. Gord's very recognizable, so it's people are like, "Hey, Gord," and people were yelling "OverDrive," and it was kind of funny. I enjoyed it, but the rink was awesome. The setup was awesome. The game. Pittsburgh had 40 shots on Korpisalo. Korpisalo played really well. And both teams kind of dressed a veteran lineup. Like Crosby played, Carlson played, Gino played, Letang played, Carter played. Like a good chunk of Pittsburgh's team played, and same thing with Ottawa. Just you mix in a couple of rookies. So it was a competitive game. There was some emotion to it, but you could tell. I felt bad. Like Sid you could tell he wanted it bad. And they just, Pittsburgh couldn't get anything going. They were 0 for 6 on the power play. Mm-hmm. So that's really what it was. But
credit to Pittsburgh because of what you just said, right? Like they could look at that as, it's Halifax. That's not our. Obviously, it was for Sid, and it's like we're playing guys. Like Gino's playing. Carlson's playing. We're not sending a team there that no one's ever heard of before. Like if we're going to this guy's basically hometown, he's from Cole Harbor, which is right up the road. Right. We're bringing the big guys. And you got. I appreciate that. That's the way it should be. But Pittsburgh. We'll see. Sid, I think, is still. He's coming up on the top 50 list. We've talked about that a lot this afternoon. He's going to be somewhere in the top 20, I believe. Where he lands, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this feels like he's got one more crack at a massive, massive season. Like, massively impactful. I'm chasing a Hart trophy. I don't think he'll win it, but I wouldn't be shocked if he was one of the 5 or 7 best players in the league this year. Yeah. Like, I would not be shocked if he stays healthy. He realizes he's got some talent around him, and there's a very small window here.
Yeah, he's got Gensel back, too. I think Gensel was hurt a lot last year, a lot of the season. So if they can get this Gensel cooking, and I agree, Sid could have one last kind of push where it's like, I'm still the man around here.
Well, and what they did, too, is they shored up their bottom 6. Like, they got nothing from their bottom six last year, and they added guys like Achari. And we're familiar with Achari, heavy body, hard to play against. Guys like that, where Zahorna played last night. Like, he's a decent player. I think Kyle has a history with him. Like, just if you look at like the big picture of what they did in a pretty quick amount of time, I think Pittsburgh got better in the offseason. So it's still up to the core of the team. We say this all the time. The Leafs aren't going anywhere without their core.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's not going anywhere if Gino. And the one thing I did in my research for this game, I looked back. Gino played 82 last year.
Yeah,
Sid played 82. Like these guys were healthy. Knock on wood for them. So and they missed the playoffs by a point. So I think, from a competitive standpoint, like, that's the thing. I think Sid is going to have an unbelievable season, and he's going to drag that team back into the playoff picture.
Yeah, and that's where the narrative comes up, right? Like, it's very difficult to knock McDavid off the pedestal if it's not going to be him for whatever reason. You would assume it's superstars in their primes, like Draisaitl, like Matthews, like McKinnon, maybe Kucherov, maybe Makar. I wouldn't be shocked if Makar, he had a Norris/MVP season in his career. That would not be shocking to anybody. But, narratives drive a lot of the voting. And if Pittsburgh makes it into the playoffs, Sid plays 80 games, has 95 points, 42 goals, and is a machine, like, that'll come up, like, not a lifetime achievement award type of thing, but, hey, Sid's has not fallen asleep here, and he's still a rock star. And, the thing is about this list, and we say it every year, you realize how many great players there are and how many great marketable players there are. If you use Toronto as an example, if you have access to tickets, I still think Edmonton's number one to see McDavid. Chicago's really high on that list now to see Bedard. But you still want to see Sid. You still want to see Ovechkin. Boston, Tampa, the Canadian teams roll through. There's a lot of tickets that come up for grabs, and you say, I want to see those guys play. Mm-hmm. Because almost every team in the league has at least a player that is marketable and is entertaining to watch play.
Well, my favorite guy, Bruce Boudreau, that's a marketable guy.
Yes. Bruce Boudreau is a very marketable guy. Do we have Bruce? I think we do have Bruce. Here he is, former NHL coach, player, NHL Network analyst, back on the show. He's been on many times. Here's Bruce Boudreau. How you doing, Bruce?
I'm doing well. How are you guys today?
We're doing very well. We were just talking about, Sidney Crosby, Alex Ovechkin, these kind of the elder statesmen in the league, and, where they still stack up. I guess starting with Alex, because we were talking about him last hour, Bruce, what kind of expectations do you have for him this season?
Well, you never, with Alex, you never say never on anything. I mean, let's look at it this way. Last year, he got 42 goals. Played 72 games, and he had Backstrom out the whole year almost, or wasn't the Nick Backstrom you're used to. TJ Oshie was out for portions of the year. Tom Wilson was out for half the year. John Carlson was out for half the year. So, I mean, you take those guys if they're healthy. And the Washington power play, I think, was 22nd in the league or something. And so, I mean, if those guys are healthy, and they get that going again for them, who's to say he's not going to score 40-plus again?
Brucey,
what?
If you were writing a list saying the top 50 players in the league, would Ovi be on your top 50 going into this season?
Until he proves he can't be, he's going to be on it. And I'll tell you this, if you don't have him on it, think of this, okay? If you don't have Ovi on your top 50 list, but you have Connor Bedard, who hasn't played a game, I think that's wrong.
Thank you, Bruce. Well stated, and I agree. Almost was getting crazy over there because he thought you were
but
about
listen
to
to this one,
on
Brucey. Bryan Hayes, our esteemed host, doesn't have Ovi on his list, period. But you know who he has? Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah. Dougie Hamilton. I don't know why he's taking shrapnel, but he is. But I also don't have Bedard, Bruce, to your point. I don't have Bedard in my top 50.
Well, and I think, like all of us do, that he's going to be unbelievable. But I mean, I think we lose respect on how good these guys in the NHL are. And they're so good. I just was in Niagara watching the last 2 games against London, and it's the first junior games I've seen in a while. And I went, oh, my goodness, what a difference between junior and the NHL. And then it got me thinking about Connor Bedard, how great he is. And there's no doubt that all these people that see him aren't going to be wrong. But let's not forget how good the NHL is, too. And he's only 18. And I just want to see it before I anoint him the world's greatest. That's all.
Yep. Bruce, we were talking about other guys that maybe could slide up and down on the list and in and out. I just came to the top of my head. Do you think a guy like Quinn Hughes could ever be, in that top 20 type of scenario? You saw him up close and personal. What is his ceiling, and how good is this guy, or can he be, and is there another level for him?
Well, I think there's another level. Let's understand, he I think, didn't score his first goal last year till his 30th game. And he worked on his shot all last summer and everything else. It just didn't come. If he ever gets to 15 goals in a year, then all of a sudden he's going to get 85 to 90 points as a defenseman. Then all of a sudden he's going to be in the Norris Trophy talking about that, because for the 100 or so games that I coached there, that the one thing I thought of Quinn was, between him and Nick Backstrom and Ryan Getzlaf, they were the 3 best passers I've ever seen in the game. And Quinn can throw it on a dime from behind the net to the center line, and I was amazed at how good his passing was. So, I mean, they've got a pretty good offensive group in Vancouver, and if they can score and their power play can be as good as when I was there, then I think he can get 80+ points. So, but he's a great passer and a great offensive player.
How you feeling about your Leafs going into another season here, Bruce?
You know what? They're going to be another great regular season team. My question is, and they're probably going to tweak it again come March. But I mean, time will tell. Can Varlamov have another great year? Can Klingberg, who they got on defense, can he be the second unit power play guy, that offensive guy that they're looking for? Can Domi replace O'Reilly? I mean, because I think Bertuzzi and Bunting are going to sort of cancel each other out. So, I mean, they retooled. They're a really good team. And I think Austin Matthews will get back to 50+ goals again. But come playoff time, I think every year, I'm like you guys, I say this is their year. But I mean, it'll be time. We'll see come playoff time. But they're going to be really good. I think the big difference this year is I think they could end up first in the Atlantic. And if they end up first in the Atlantic, they don't have to play Tampa or Boston in the first round, and I think that's going to be a big boon to them having success in the playoffs.
Brucey, the big thing with the Leafs is obviously the best players have to show up and play dominant hockey in the playoffs. Like, when Washington ultimately won the Stanley Cup, and I'm aware that you weren't there, but did you see that coming with their best players? Like, because you're basically, what you're doing is you're sitting around waiting for them to be good. So how painful is that wait, and what do you think has to happen for it to happen for them?
Well, the one thing is the owners and the GMs have to have patience and wait till they get that good. And it happened in Tampa, and it happened in Washington. I mean, when we were really good back then, we were really good, but we were really young. I mean, and Nick was the first couple of years. Mike Green was first couple of years. Semin was young. Ovi was young. And I mean, when they grew up and matured and finally realized what it takes to win the cup, they won the cup. Tampa didn't get really good until they lost 4 straight to Columbus. Then they realized what it took to get good. And I think teams learn that way. And so I think that if anything, the Leafs have learned. I mean, they should have learned. I mean, they got the same crew that has lost the last few years. So, I mean, if they can keep Nylander through March and either sign him or just keep him, and they got their core four and the other guys around them are good. I think they've got as good a chance as any. But I mean, it's what I've always thought is teams are so even that it's either a big save or good fortune, a post here, something like that. Usually in a long series, that's the difference. And if the Leafs get on the lucky side of that, then they'll win. If they don't, they won't.
Yeah, seems like we've been saying that for a long time, but you're right, Bruce. I mean, that generally is the approach, that the expectation is they have a really good regular season. They brought in some new guys with a bit of a different identity, but, it's still the Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Riley show, right? Like, it's know what those guys are going to be.
And, I mean, they're there, and they're going to perform. So you know what you're going to get, no matter who the new guys are.
Right.
To me, it doesn't matter. Those are the guys that are going to make the difference. And when those guys, if Austin Matthews can get 16 goals in the playoffs, the Leafs will win the cup. If Tavares can have that one golden year, it all has to come through in the playoffs. I mean, if everything aligns, the stars align, then and they don't hit posts, they don't shoot wide when they have the opportunities, there's a good chance they can win. Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be easy getting there because I believe Ottawa and Buffalo are going to have a lot to say with who's in the playoffs this year.
Yep, feels like that is certainly something that could happen this year. Those two teams have been knocking on the door now for a year or two. We're getting started in a week. It's going to be a great season. I'm sure we'll have you on a bunch, and we look forward to it. Thank you, Bruce.
Yep, can't wait. It'll be a great year. But tonight, it's all Blue Jays, baby.
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go, Jays. There you go. Thank you, Bruce.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bruce Boudreau. Yeah, we knew it, man. He's a good Toronto boy, Bruce. He knows what's up. And the Jays they're down 3. They're losing 3-0 top of the 6th. They're into the bullpen. Swanson's been out. Mesa's been out. Yeah. Gosman, his line is 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Not good. Just not. I mean, again, the bats. If the bats are going to be asleep, and they are, I think they have 3 hits with a walk. That's not going to cut it. If you can't put runs on the board,
didn't they do that to Gosman a bunch this year? Like just zero offense for him.
Yeah, since he signed here, it's happened a lot over the last 2 years where he'll go out and pitch a gem, and it doesn't matter. He'll lose the ball game 2-1. But it's not a good start. Those numbers are just not. They're not good enough for an ace. Where you look at Pablo Lopez on the other side, he is the ace in Minnesota. He's been their best pitcher. He's now gone 5 strong, giving up 3 hits, no earned. That's what you're looking for. And if it's going to be a low-scoring game, so be it. You better pitch. You better defend. Right now, the pitching didn't pull its weight, but you're into the 6th inning. You still got a lot of outs left. You still got a lot of ball game ahead of you, and it's only 1 game, right? You're do or die tomorrow if this continues to fall off a cliff for the Jays tonight. But best 2 out of 3 for a reason. Not the old style 1-game wild card. Remember that? Like for years, it was a 1-game wild card.
Crazy. 162 games to play 1 game.
It didn't even seem like the team was making the playoff. It was like you get one extra.
It was so. It really. If your team got smoked, it was like, what was the point of that? You're no different than the worst team in the league. You played 1 more game.
Yeah.
So we'll keep tracking that. Confirm and deny still to come. Best bets brought to you by FanDuel. We got to those earlier this afternoon. We like the Phillies tonight. We like the under. We like Wheeler throwing a bunch of Ks. We like Harper to get on base. Number of things coming from that game tonight. But confirm and deny is still to come. OverDrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
I can neither confirm or deny that this is in fact a segment.
Austin trades Andrew Raycroft to Toronto in exchange for the rights to Tuukka Rask.
It's been my honor and a privilege to serve as the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey Club.
It's time for Confirm or Deny.
Do you regret giving all those gentlemen the no trades or no movement clauses?
I can neither confirm or deny that.
I can't confirm or deny.
All right, confirm or deny, brought to you by Don Valley North Lexus. Right now, get lease rates as low as 3.3%. Multiple security deposits are required. Visit DonValleyNorthLexus.com for all of the details. All right, confirm or deny. Statements are made. We go around the table. We confirm them or we deny them. Very simple stuff.
Yep.
Confirm or deny, Max Domi will have a bigger impact on the Leafs season than any rookie or new addition. Any of the other new additions or rookies on the team this year?
Bigger impact, it's kind of a loaded question. Are you talking on the score sheet or just overall? We're talking
overall, anything that you can, all-encompassing impact.
I am going to confirm that. We talked about the timing and how we can harness it and kind of have the building all fired up for Max Domi. I think he can have a big-time impact. If he can combine some scoring touch with William Nylander succeeding at center ice, along with some just firing the crowd up and becoming a fan favorite, I will 100% confirm that.
I'm denying it. I'm playing the field. Could be Tyler Bertuzzi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, keep in mind, if this guy gets to ride shotgun on that line, whew, that looks pretty good. You know what I mean? Like that's a 60-point. Like in his sleep, he can get 60 points.
Yep.
If Bunting was able to do that.
Yep.
I think Bertuzzi's a better player than Bunting. So that's where I think it could be Bertuzzi for me.
Yeah, I will deny it because of the field as well. I think Max he's got a real chance at it. I think what we've been talking about today factors into the impact on the season, the vibe around the team. I think the electricity in the rink, it's not going to happen all the time. It can't happen all the time. I'll add Matthew Knies in, though. He's still technically a rookie. Like, he's had a good camp, and you know, you're right about Bertuzzi riding shotgun with those two. I think Domi, if he was riding shotgun with those two, would have a massive season. I think Knies would have a massive season. I think if you're lucky enough to play with Matthews and Marner, put your stick on the ice and win a couple battles, you're probably going to rack up some points.
Nice to see a kid like Knies who's going to play in the lineup. I think he's going to be a heck of a player. The Minton kid and even Easton Cowan.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see. It's nice to move away from that 5'8" guy with skill, thinking that that's going to somehow revolutionize hockey. It ain't. It never was. It never was going to happen like that. So.
Yeah. It's a feeder system, right? They've like that. Fraser Minton has looked good. Like he has looked like a smart. I don't think he projects to be a superstar in the NHL, but if he can be just an effective, good player, and he's not ready yet. But
you know what they are? There's hockey players that don't need to be showed an iPad after every time they come on the ice. Oh, where do I go there? What should I do there, coach? Should I go? Should I get in deep? They're smart and they're good hockey players, and they're just good. They're all around good, low maintenance, good quality hockey players.
Yep.
Non-iPad players.
Non-iPad.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the guy that's should I have backtracked there, or should I have got what?
Play into the crowd too, always, right? It's a heroic play, so the coach is like, "Oh, that's a really good question," as if the coach wants to be the professor, right? You're not trying to get a PhD here. You're trying to win a hockey game.
I used to play with a guy who would just thread a Hail Mary saucer pass up the middle over 4 sticks, come back to the bench, and would be like, "Did you want me to do that there?" And I honestly wanted to throw haymakers.
Yeah.
That's all, or you'd say, "That's all I had there. Did you like that?"
And the coach would be like,
"What a play! What a play!" I just outrageous.
Yeah. So funny.
I just come back. I had nothing else there. Oh, really? You had nothing else there?
Just give it a shot.
Shut up and get ready for your next shift.
Worked out, man. Really happy it worked out. Anything could have happened there. All right, confirm or deny, the New York Jets would make the playoffs if Daniel Jones was their quarterback.
The who?
The New York Jets.
Absolutely not. This is a ridiculous comment, statement, question. It's all garbage.
I don't think so. I don't think it is. The Jets defense, did you see them the other night? That defense is legit, man. They held Mahomes in check.
Yeah, but, dude, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. People are sewering the coach of the Giants. What about Danny Dimes?
Yeah, it's not great. I'm not suggesting it's great.
Oh, no, but you love him. That's what he deserves to get paid.
It's infinitely better than Zach Wilson.
That's what – I'll tell you what.
It's way better than Zach Wilson.
I got something for you that I forgot to tell you. I forgot to text you. I think Zach Wilson's going to be a player.
No, stop it.
No, I'm not, dude. He made some plays where I saw the arm and I saw the ability. If you quit on that guy, he's going to go somewhere else and be a stud in 5 years. I'm telling you right now.
I'll admit he slung some really good balls the other night. Like that drive to start the third quarter was electric. Like,
I'm telling you, there's something there. There's
drive.
something there. It's not Sam Darnold where he's seeing ghosts and he's just going to be terrible and not even be a player.
I mean, if that's all you're seeing, though, dude, think about all the other sample size where he's been a mess. A mess. A couple of good drives is not going to put me over the top in terms of pumping his tires. But I agree with your assessment in terms of how he played in the second quarter. I felt for him. He fumbled the snap. Never got the ball back.
Well,
I saw something,
Okay.
Did you guys agree? You didn't agree with the Rodney Harrison assessment
I thought
and all
that
of that?
was tough, man. Rodney was. I give credit to Chris Jones because he could have.
He was leading the witness.
Yeah,
he was leading the witness. That's what he was doing. I didn't like it at all, but it sounds like, he called up and said, "Hey, I need to get back." Whatever he did, he made amends because they were fine with it today.
Yeah, Rodney. He basically said the guy was garbage. Like it may have.
He was saying
used
he was
that
garbage.
Language.
He used the word garbage.
Yeah. It was tough. It was harsh. I mean, Rodney Harrison was a great player, tough player. He's kind of an emotional analyst too. But still, it was tough. But I'm actually. I'm still going to deny this, but it's not 100% denial. Daniel Jones with more weapons, a better defense, better line.
No way,
Danny
dude.
Dimes is what he is. That O-line in New York with the Giants is terrible. They are horrendous, and they cannot protect him, and he has no weapons. I think you put him with Garrett Wilson, a better backfield, albeit Saquon Barkley is a stud, but he's hurt right now. I'll still deny it, though. All right. Go ahead, Noodles. Did you give a confirm or deny Danny Dimes with the Jets?
I'm denying it.
You're
too.
still denying it?
I think
it's all nonsense.
Well, I think
it's not nonsense. He's better than Zach Wilson. He is better, and he's a professional. He got the Giants to the playoffs a year ago. It's not far-fetched. Danny Dimes switches New York teams. The Jets go on a bit of a run. That would happen.
I think
Make the playoffs.
The second most preposterous thing you've said today.
Well, here's one for you that I didn't think we were going to get as deep into this earlier. Confirm or deny, Alex Ovechkin is still a top 40 player in the NHL. It's obviously been established. Go ahead.
Well,
and
you know where we stand.
Yeah, and I'll deny. And you can find the podcast and you can find everything online because it's already out there. We posted on Twitter, Instagram. It'll be up on YouTube. Our disagreement on Alex Ovechkin.
It's 100% confirm. He spent a lot of time back at home with his family with the loss of his father. Tom Wilson injured, Backstrom injured, Oshie injured. All are healthy this year. You're going to see a 50-goal season out of the grade 8, and then you're going to have to apologize on live television.
I'll admit I'm wrong. If he scores 50, I'll be wrong, needless to say. And it's tough to doubt the guy. The guy scored 42 last year. 42 goals in 72 games. If he played 82, he probably has 46 or 47. It's amazing.
Here's your comment, though. 40 now isn't really it.
What was. 40's the new 30.
That is something else.
40's the new 30. It is.
That was
20
the
guys
other
are scoring
thing.
40 in their sleep.
That was an egregious
Guys
comment.
are scoring 40 in their sleep.
40 is the new 30.
40's the new 30. 23 guys or something in the league scored 40 last year.
Well, and even Stutzla had 39. There were some guys kicking around like high 30s too. So, anyways, I thought that was funny. It's just like 40.
It's still
not
an impressive
that big of a
stat.
deal anymore.
It's an impressive
not to you.
stat.
It's
not. It's not what it was. I mean, listen,
Noodles, the only guy that's impressive
move.
that got 40 was Nylander for this guy.
I thought he had a great season last year.
Anybody else?
He did have a great year.
He did have a great year. 40 was a big
Timo
number
Meier
for
make
him.
your list?
I had Timo
Meier
Meier at 50.
make your list?
I had Timo at 50. He was my 50th guy. I had Timo Meier. Again, this is a projection for this year. It's not a reflection on what we thought they did last year. But I put Timo Meier in there. I had him at 50. All right. Confirm or deny, the Buffalo Bills should be the favorite now to win the AFC.
I'm going to 100% confirm that. It's almost like that opening night with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
They just was a complete wake-up call, and Josh Allen said, I'm not doing this crap anymore. He sewered himself, which sometimes is the ultimate wake-up call, where he just said, same Josh Allen, same critical errors. And he went home, had a talking to himself. He went and had some wings in downtown Buffalo and some beers and said, I'm never doing that again. 100% confirm this.
I'm denying it. The Kansas City Chiefs still exist. The Kansas City Chiefs still exist. Yes, it wasn't a Picasso the other night, But ever since they lost week 1 to Detroit somehow, or they should have, if Kadarius Toney had hands that could work and operate, they would be 4-0 right now. But I'm not betting against Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Got to find some guys to throw it to other than Kelce. I'll tell you that much.
Well, they'll find one. Don't you worry.
Where?
Aaron Rodgers' comments about Kelce today. What did
took
you call him?
Pfizer. A little jab at him, Mr. Pfizer or something.
Yeah, Mr. Pfizer or Pfizer boy or something like that.
Well, and people are pointing out the owner of the Jets is Woody Johnson of Johnson & Johnson, which is a pharmaceutical juggernaut.
Yeah,
that's true. They
had their own jab.
Yeah, he's literally employed by Johnson & Johnson. But
that's
anyway.
really funny.
Yeah. And okay, all right. Well, listen, I'm with you. The Bills are right there. I'm not. They've been outstanding. That was the statement game of the season on Sunday against Miami. Yeah. But for me, it's still Kansas City.
I'm denying it because I do like KC. Andy Reid's my guy. Mm-hmm. That's my guy.
Love Andy Reid.
So, yeah.
All right. 40 is the new 30. 50 is the new 40.
Every dog has his day. I'll tell you that right now. Buffalo goes into Kansas City or vice versa. They're going to kick Kansas City's ass.
I'd love to see it. I'm all for it. I'm not saying I'm rooting against the Bills, but it's not who I want to see win. It's who I think should still be the favorite.
Yeah, but it's just like you're purposely cheering against good stories and good feeling stories.
How am I doing that?
I don't know. The last couple of weeks, people are even talking to me when they see me. They're like, this guy's just down on everything. And
really?
I know.
He's the contrarian all of a sudden.
I'm the contrarian now.
Just craps on everyone.
That's not true at all. I told you in the last hour, Vasilevsky out, Connor Bedard in. Asterisk on my list.
Like when you said Ovi no on the list, it took a chunk out of me.
Because I got to have it. I've got to be honest in my analysis. It's not contrarian. Mike, you had Mike Johnson on in your heartbroken. You're Ralph Wiggum. When Johnny said I don't have him in my top 50, you went awfully quiet. You almost shrunk. You didn't know what to say on that because I had backup. All of a sudden, I had some ammo. All right, here we go. Confirm or deny. If Cole Caufield stays healthy, he has a chance to score 50 goals this season. 50 is the new 40.
No, I got him tapped out at 40 this year.
Such a hater. Such a hater.
You think Cole Caufield's going to score 50 goals this year?
No, I don't.
Yeah, okay.
I'm denying it as well. I don't think he's scoring 50. But see, when you agree with me, it's all good. He's not scoring 50. He's got to stay healthy first and foremost.
The other
you know what could help him score 50 down the road if number 20 turns into a stud.
Slavkovsky's got to turn into a player.
Well, the other thing too, I could see them having a chance of doing it if they had a really good power play. Their power play stinks. Mm-hmm. Like if you look at their setup, like I look at teams every night and. Yeah, you don't have to have the power play of the Oilers or the Leafs or, Ottawa scored the second most amount of goals on the power play last year. They weren't second ranked, but they scored the second most goals. Like Ottawa got a lot of wins on their power play last year. Mm-hmm. If you look at it, Montreal's stinks. So that's giving away a lot of goals right there. Because if he had chemistry, if you had somebody who was a disher, and Caufield's a shooter, then if he played with Mitch Marner and got a lot of really good looks, that's where you get 50. You get the 5-on-5 goals, but your power play puts you over the top. That's why I'm denying it because I think he has the ability to score 50 in this league, but their power play has to get better. They need more talent on that power play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to play a full season, right? Like that has not happened for him. Where you're talking 82 games. He's ready to go every single night. He looks like a professional. He's still a young guy, and he's still trying to find his way. And, like, Suzuki's kind of in a similar position. So I'm denying it as well. Confirm or deny, Taylor Swift is more powerful within the NFL offices. In other words, could get a sit-down with Roger Goodell more so than any other player or coach in the NFL.
I'm gonna confirm that. Like I think she's just one of the most powerful people in the world, man. Mm-hmm. Like Did you see the ratings for the game she was at? Like, it's like
but that's a bunch of
27 million people.
But they're playing teams that stink noodles. They're playing the Jets and the Bears, and people are still watching.
27 million people are tuning in to see her in the luxury box 3 times.
Okay, it's going to get old. You watch.
Dude, I think it's old too. But what I will not deny is the power of it.
No, they won't. They're not falling. If she shows up at games, Swifties come out. Like it's like a ecosystem.
They're going to start going
to
the games. They're going to start going to the games.
It's a different beast. You'd think, like, could we get Taylor Swift helping a different league? The NFL is already a juggernaut. Can she start showing up? I don't know, maybe to NHL games, maybe to MLS games, or come up here and check out the Argos or something. Like, the NFL is already massive. And they're sell out, and they get 20 million people watching anyway. And then she jumps on board, and it's taken on this completely different complexion. It's gone to a different level.
I think there will be fatigue from the non-Swifties.
Dude,
where people are like, there's already, I'm watching the game, I'm like, I don't need to see her 840 times, pretending to enjoy it. She doesn't enjoy it. She's putting a show on. She's, like,
how do you know she doesn't enjoy it? The Chiefs are 2-0 when she's in the building.
Yes, but she doesn't. Everything there is just it's a show. It's an act. I have no idea if she's a huge football fan or not. What I'm saying is she knows the camera's on, so she's putting a show on. She's a great entertainer. So, whether she's a fan or not, she knows she's going to be on the camera 480 times.
Yes.
And to me, as a fan watching the game, I'm tired of it already. And what are we, 2 weeks in? So a month from now, if she's still dating the guy, but there might be a public breakup and whatever, but if not, it's fatigue.
They break up, that thing's game, set, match, over. Like the.
Oh, of course. I mean, and for the NFL, then obviously. But
how many times did we get so? If I had to see Kurt Warner's wife one more time, and that's when Kurt Warner was marching, they pan to it's enough. Like the storyline, you're trying to watch the games. It's like here's the reaction. Taylor Swift's doing this. I get it. She might be more powerful today. 2 weeks from now, it'll be fatigue. That's the way I feel.
I don't think so in the NFL world. I don't. I'm confirming this. To put this into perspective, Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift both leave a voicemail on Goodell's phone. He's calling Swift back first.
All day long.
He's not calling Mahomes first. He's calling her and saying, what can I do for you? How can I be of service? Because this is bringing in a completely different demographic. It's adding a different storyline. And you're not wrong, Noodles. But the people we're talking about, like the three of us, we're watching the game anyway. I'm not turning it off because they showed Taylor Swift again. I'm still watching. So it's irrelevant how we react and how it's just like the halftime show at the Super Bowl. That's not for us, right? Like the diehard NFL fan is watching anyway. The Super Bowl halftime is to bring people in that aren't watching it. That's why they are absolutely milking this, because she's the biggest star in the world. The tour she just had is almost unparalleled in our lifetime. I mean, I'm sure there are obviously the Beatles coming to America, Michael Jackson tours, but the Eras tour was massive. It was a huge pop culture moment. It's got to be exhausting for her, because you're right. Everything has to be, are they watching? Is the camera on me now? Every move she does could be on national TV and could go viral. It's got to be an exhausting existence. But I'm confirming that she's more powerful. Bill Belichick's not getting a sit-down with Goodell before Taylor Swift. No chance. Bill Belichick wants to sit down with Roger Goodell. He's got to wait out in the waiting room until T. Swift gets out of there. They're changing their bio on their Twitter account and Instagram account about how, the Swifties are 2-0.
Right now, it's the topical thing. 1 month from now, we need to bookmark this conversation.
Okay.
If they 1 month from now, we'll see if we've got T Swift fatigue.
What do you think about this? A makeshift confirm or deny. Confirm or deny. Taylor Swift and Kelsey are still together at Super Bowl time this year.
That's a long way down the road, man.
I'm denying. I say it dunzo.
I'll confirm it. Love is in the air.
Love
is in the air. Confirmed.
You've been crapping on everything. There's no way you buy into that
Listen,
story.
I believe in love. I think these two kids, they got together, they see eye to eye, and I'm not going to root against them. I'll root against Alex Ovechkin and Connor Bedard, but I'm not rooting against Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Dougie Hamilton. Your guy, Dougie Hamilton.
Dougie up for the Norris this year.
Why did all of a sudden Dougie Hamilton just get crapped on today?
I know. What did he do?
I'm not. I like
the player.
He is. I love Dougie Hamilton, okay? But to think of Dougie Hamilton as a guy ahead of Ovi on the top 50, are you guys doing illegal drugs?
I didn't put him on my top 50. Just for clarity, I did not have him. He was one of the guys who I really debated over, but then I looked at a lot of the D, like Heiskanen. I'm looking at Dahlin. Like these guys have really taken another step. Quinn Hughes. That's why I asked Bruce Boudreau that question. Like I think Quinn Hughes is an absolute stud. If his game rounds out and he gets a little bit more support from that defensive core, like I think he's a top tier player. So. That's what's interesting for me. So Dougie Hamilton kind of fell. I couldn't find a spot for him.
Okay.
I just couldn't find a spot.
You have Erik
for him.
Karlsson on your list?
I do, yes. Because I think he's going to get every opportunity in Pittsburgh. I really do.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Confirm or deny? Yeah, I no comment. I actually don't. I think I'm pretty sure I did have him somewhere. I can't remember where I had him. 100 points last year. But what is he going to do this year? New team, transition? There's a guy that could take a big step back. I don't think it would be shocking. He's not going to put up 100 points again. I'm willing to put money on that. Confirm or deny, brought to you by Don Valley North Lexus. Right now, get lease rates as low as 3.3%. Multiple security deposits required. Visit DonValleyNorthLexus.com for all of the details. All right, we're tracking the Jays 3-1, bottom of the 7th. So they have gotten on the board here. Kiermaier with a hit. Kiermaier's got 2 hits today. He's got 2 hits and a walk. So Kiermaier's shown up. He has shown up, and he is playing. Bichette's got a run. Both teams into their bullpen at this point. So we'll keep an eye on that. And as we announced yesterday, really exciting, TSN 1050's Leafs lineup is your chance to win Leaf tickets every week, all season long. Every weekday, we will announce a current or former Leaf player. And on Fridays, you'll have a chance to call in and name the Leaf lineup of the week. So you got to name all 5 players from all 5 shows. Name all the players in the Leaf lineup, and you'll score a pair of tickets to an upcoming Maple Leaf game. Today's player, I love this one. Today's player is Ken Klee. Why not? The second Leaf we're going to use.
Cliffy Clavin. Kenny Klee.
Kenny Klee. This week we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Leafs take on the Wild, October 14th. So there you have it. Ken Klee is your Maple Leaf player of the day. All right, we'll come back and recap a busy afternoon. Keep you updated on Jays Twins. Look ahead to Game 2 tomorrow as well. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, the Jays, they're down 3-1. They're down 3-1, and earlier today, Texas went down to the Trop and kind of beat up on the Rays. They won 4-0.
Smacked them in the face. Unreal.
Yeah. Texas kind of backdooring into the playoffs themselves. The Rays were, one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the league really all year. It's like Baltimore, Atlanta, the Dodgers, Tampa. Like that's basically what you're looking at. And now Tampa's got their backs up against the wall. Game 2 tomorrow afternoon. And the Jays are in a similar position right now. They still have some game left. It's only 3-1, bottom of the 7th. You're going to get, batters coming up in the 8th, batters coming up in the 9th. Anything's still possible here. But they got to produce runs. That's what it comes down to all season long. Who is going to be clutch? Here is another opportunity. Who is going to be clutch? Because you need to find it. And your season isn't over tonight. You reset, right. You get back out tomorrow. They announced Barrios will start tomorrow, which is consistent with, the way it was going to line up, based on what they did all season. I thought they'd go Bassett Game 2. We'll find out if it's the right call. We might see Bassett. Again, you're in desperation mode tomorrow if the Jays can't come back and win this game. Right. Barrios is struggling early. Boom, you're out. Bassett, get up. Bassett struggles. I don't know. Kikuchi, I guess you'd have to save him for Game 3. But you got to throw everything at the wall if you're down 1-0 in the best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So
bottom line is you need to find something here today and then regroup for tomorrow if you don't find it.
Yep.
And We'll see how it unfolds.
Need a rally here. We're going into the top of the 8th, so we'll see what happens. All right, thanks to everyone behind the scenes today. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today, TV, podcast, radio, and web. We appreciate that as well. Tomorrow's going to be a good one, right? We'll be breaking down Game 1, looking ahead to Game 2. These will be in action this week. The Raptors are going to be in action. Week 5 in the NFL starting on Thursday. It's crazy how quickly that's flying, man.
Love it.
It's flying by. Yeah, it really is. And maybe a little over-under future betting on tomorrow's show, too. So we'll take a look at a bunch of the lines, courtesy of our friends at FanDuel. So we'll do that tomorrow. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Ovi, I'm sorry for the guy on the left. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.